Congress will use the National Defense Authorization Act to repeal the U.S. military's COVID-19 vaccine mandate after House Democrats conceded the issue to the incoming GOP majority. The bill, which lays out some $847 billion in 2023 budgetary spending for the Defense Department, is expected to pass this week.
Earlier this week, current House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy threatened to hold back the NDAA until Democrats got on board with repealing the military's vaccine mandate. Former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard had this to say on Fox News yesterday.
I know people personally, Brian, who have been kicked out of the military, some who've served 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, all because of this mandate that makes no sense and frankly is based on a lie that Fauci and others continue to propagate as they have throughout this whole thing, which is these vaccines will prevent you from catching COVID and that it will prevent you from spreading COVID. The fact that this is even a question at this point, whether or not to lift this DOD mandate and that Secretary Austin is opposing it, is just absolute madness.
Yeah, I think it's smart for the Democrats to just cave on this. I don't understand, like Tulsi, what the logic of keeping this in place would be at this point. We've talked about this a lot, but the decision to get vaccinated should be an individual's choice. That's something you should consult with your doctor and whatever relevant guidance and make that choice for yourself. People who are at high risk, who are elderly, generally not the people we have in our armed forces probably should get it. But again, that's their choice. To have a rationale that you would need to get it, there should be some argument that, you have to get vaccinated because that's going to have these ancillary effects on people around you, people you work with, people you live with. If it's going to stop them from getting COVID, then you could see the argument for it. But we all have had to concede. Unfortunately, that's just not really the case with the vaccine. So it is an individual health decision. And while I think the U.S. military, our service people, are a little bit different than other employees in that they have to follow orders. They're not entitled, for better or for worse, to the same freedoms as normal U.S. citizens or other employees. So I can understand in some kind of conceptual way why obligating them to do this could have a better legal defense behind it or maybe even philosophical justification. But all that said, it doesn't seem like there's any reason to do it. There's not enough of a reason to force people who don't want to get it or have some objection but want to serve their country. No, you can serve our country. You don't have to get it. That seems fine.
Yeah, I do think it is an interesting difference of opinion between how certain other military obligations are perceived. And, there are a whole course of vaccines and shots that people are required that I agree should be narrowly tailored to what they actually need to stay safe and to support the interests of the organization. It's probably not true that everybody who's ever required to get a yellow fever vaccine is actually being sent to places where they could potentially get yellow fever or whatever else is on the schedule for people who are in the armed forces. So I do think there's something particularly politicized here about the resistance to the COVID vaccine. That being said, my feeling is that, for civil libertarian reasons, everything that everyone's required to do should be as nearly tailored as possible.
Right.
And now that we know, and many people have been ringing the alarm bell much longer before it was mainstream knowledge, and they should get credit for that, but now that it is mainstream knowledge that the vaccine doesn't have the same effect on preventing transmission as it once did, there's no real reason to keep standing behind these requirements. And it's actually surprising to me that they're still in place.
Yeah. No, really surprising. And like you said, you have to give credit to people who earlier than the mainstream, earlier than me, said, you know what, this is not going to, in the long run, keep cases down. Maybe that wasn't at the beginning. The vaccine helped against the initial strain for a while, and then when the other variants came along, it probably still has some effect on cases, but not at all the kind of. Remember when we were still talking about a breakthrough case, another breakthrough case, another breakthrough case. It was everyone virtually has had a breakthrough case, and
it's worth emphasizing that being vaccinated lowers your potential to be hospitalized and die significantly. And there are, you could make an argument about the military's interest in not wasting funds or losing resources, human resources, and having people hospitalized for a long time and also having to pay for that care. However, you have to weigh those kind of against the civil libertarian concerns here.
And most of those people are not going to be in a.
But I don't want to overstate that too much. There are plenty of people who are in the military who aren't kind of active duty people. There are older people who are in the military that are in more senior positions who have, heart disease.
And they probably should get vaccinated.
And they probably should get vaccinated,
but it's up
that's
to them.
going to be, exactly. It's going to be up to them.
Yeah. Well, so it was good to see that. Finally, it's interesting that Democrats, I think, have really pivoted away for the most part. You can still find, honestly, the only place that I can tell that you can still find like a lot of COVID mandates and vaccine mandates particularly are college campuses, which is hysterical and very weird, and doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
What are people going to be mad at next, Robby? Maybe we can join forces and everyone can concentrate on being mad at the labor suppression that's been happening with the Biden administration, with the support of all of these squad members and the like. And now once the cause to be super mad at vaccine mandates goes away with the last of the mandates.
That will be.
It will be a win for American workers as far as I'm concerned. We'll see what happens.
We'll have more Rising after this.